He was 17, quiet, careful, just trying to get home. No weapons, no crime, just the wrong place, the wrong skin, the wrong assumptions. When the flashing lights hit his face, time froze. In that instant, one choice, one lie, would decide the rest of his life. The officers said they found something, but Marcus swore it wasn't his. By the time the truth surfaced, it wasn't just his freedom at stake. It was justice itself. What really happened that night on East Mill Street? And how far will the truth have to fight to be believed? At dusk, long shadows stretched across the cracked pavement of East Mill Street, turning the urban decay into a painter's chiaroscuro. The warm glow of a street lamp blinked once, then hummed quietly, as if reluctant to awaken. A lone figure emerged from the alleyway. Slim, tall, dusk-colored hoodie pulled low, hands tucked deep in pockets. The night air carried the whistle of a breeze and the distant rumble of a city that never sleeps. As he stepped into the flickering lamp's circle, time slowed. A bird's wing cut the air. The hiss of tires on tarmac felt loud. In that suspended moment, the world whispered of innocence and of accusation, of a life about to tilt on a hinge. Dear viewer, the gears of justice often turn quietly, unseen. But tonight, a teenage boy named Marcus will walk beneath the spotlight, framed by forces he never invited. The world of justice is painted in high contrast, illuminated by hope, yet overcast by prejudice. In the grand halls of law, we speak of fairness and equality, but behind marble pillars and polished benches are the shadows of power, fear, and silence. It is in that twilight zone, where the powerless tremble and the powerful sharpen their edges, that our story unfurls. We will travel through fear and resistance, betrayal and redemption, seeing how one act of courage can ripple into change. The heart of this drama beats at the junction of identity and law and asks, when those sworn to protect become predators in uniform, where does one turn? And what if someone unexpected sees? On a stiff spring afternoon, the sun angled through the high windows of the precinct house, throwing long rectangular beams across linoleum floors. In room A12, Officer Curtis Delgado and Officer Marla Lawson sat behind a battered desk, the bad shine of their uniforms cold under the fluorescent lights. Across from them sat Marcus Reynolds, 17 years old, dark-skinned, quiet-eyed, and finely tuned to fear. He'd been stopped earlier, a friend's house party in the neighborhood, the music loud, the laughter echoing. But his presence there had been brief, a car ride home, a wave could buy. Yet the accusation was laid, possession of illegal weapon. The tone was casual, the words clipped. Delgado reached into his jacket, produced a small revolver, silver-lined, bullets still visible in the cylinder. "Found this in your backpack?" he said, voice even. Lawson nodded, her face blank. Marcus's heart shrank. He said he knew nothing of it. He said he didn't put it there. The beep of the precinct's-old clock measured his seconds. Outside the window, a crosstown bus rattled its terminals, and a pigeon scratched the concrete. But in here, authenticity froze. The officers exchanged glances. Delgado removed a sheet of paper and slid it across the desk, a statement. Marcus stared at it, the fine print too small. "Sign here," said Lawson. "If you don't, we take you in." Marcus's pen trembled. He paused. The sound of the door clicking shut behind him had resonated. He remembered his mother's voice earlier, "Don't talk more than you must." The offer was thin, freedom in exchange for a lie. Delgado's badge glinted. The memory of sun gold on his father's skin when he taught him to ride his bike entered Marcus's mind. He said nothing. The officers waited. Silence spun inside the room like a trapped bird. Delgado leaned forward. "We've got evidence, kid. Better cooperate." The whitewashed walls echoed. Down the hallway, a janitor pushed a trolley of buckets. The drip of a faucet somewhere. Marcus swallowed. Then he signed, because fear pressed him, because his mouth refused the fight. Later, they would photograph him, cuff him. The flash of the camera felt heavier than the steel of the handcuffs. Outside, the city's lights blurred, his reflection a ghost in the glass. Later that evening, Marcus sat on the edge of his bed in the small apartment he shared with his mother. The light from the single window cut across the floorboards, dust motes dancing in the glow. His mother, Rosa Reynolds, entered silently, her face drawn, weary. She brought him a glass of water and sat beside him. Her fingers touched his arm. She asked softly, "What happened?" Marcus's voice cracked. He told her of the stop, the weapon, the statement. She closed her eyes and held his hand. "They don't have proof," she whispered. But the fear in her eyes said she knew too well that not having proof may not save him. She remembered her own father, a sharecropper's son in Mississippi, whose dignity was buffeted by accusation, who taught her, "They'll frame your silence if you speak only truth." Silence followed. Outside, a siren's wail rose and faded. The world went on. Their apartment's walls seemed thinner now, as though the street noise pressed in. Marcus felt shame, not for what he'd done, but for what they believed he might. His chest tightened like a fist. He lay back, the quilt pulled up, eyes locked on the ceiling's cracks. Tomorrow would bring processing. The judge's court. Could justice live in these corridors?
In that waiting time, Marcus returned to school. His classmates looked at him differently, some with pity, some with avoidance. He sat in the back row. The scratch of his chair echoed louder to him than the teacher's voice. His backpack, now empty of books, hung limp by his desk. Lunchroom chatter rose around him, plate clinks, laughter, the jangle of lockers. But for Marcus, the world had shifted. Each glance carried a question mark. He walked home past an old mural of a registered Great Civil Rights March, its colors faded, the figures standing firm. He wondered whether that mural had seen this before, innocents tagged, framed, their lives disrupted. At home, he helped his mother cook rice and beans. The aroma of cumin and onion filled the air. They spoke softly of rent, bills, summer jobs, but beneath it all was the knot of accusation. Rosa asked him what he wanted to do. Marcus said he didn't know. "Just get back to normal," he murmured. But normal had left. Meanwhile, in another world of privilege, the son of the local judge, Judge Arnold Whitaker III, stirred. The judge's son, Elliot Whitaker, studied law at a coffee-scented library, his laptop open on articles about civil liberties, policing reform. He walked the old oak-lined campus with earphones in, playlists of jazz and spoken-word poetry. He was used to his father's dinners, reputations, nods of approval from colleagues in suits. But last night, he had glimpsed something he couldn't unsee. Driving home from late studies, he had passed the precinct and paused at the scene of Marcus's arrest. Flashing lights, officers' silhouettes, Marcus's figure in cuffs. A chill knotted his spine. He felt guilt before he even knew why. In his apartment, he lay awake, listening to his father's voice echo in his head. A judge must stand for truth above all. And the sheet of law articles glowed on his screen. He asked himself, how often did his father really stand for truth? The next morning, Elliot tucked a coffee into his satchel and decided to do something he had never done: walk into the precinct and ask questions.
Elliot entered the precinct with a polite, "Excuse me,"
and a visitor badge. His polished shoes clicked on the linoleum. The scent of bleach and worn leather hung in the air. Officer Delgado eyed him warily. Officer Lawson raised an eyebrow. "I'm here to inquire about a case," Elliot said, voice steady. "A young man named Marcus Reynolds." Their faces shifted. Delgado cleared his throat. "This is unusual. You know my father is Judge Whitaker." Elliot felt that line like cold air. "Yes," he said. "I also believe justice should not be compromised by power or fear." The officers exchanged glances. Delgado said, "I don't see how you're involved." Elliot leaned forward. "Because I saw the arrest last night. I want to ensure everything is correct." A flicker, a hesitance. Lawson crossed her arms. "You saw what?" Elliot described the moment, the flash of cameras, the way Marcus looked for help, the way the officers' stances changed when they saw the recording equipment of a bystander. He said the arrest looked staged. Stars outside the precinct window seemed to wink in disbelief. The officers bristled. Delgado snapped, "You're making a lot of assumptions." Elliot replied calmly, "And I might be, unless I see the body cam footage, unless you show me the chain of custody, unless you treat this like an investigation, not just a case file. I hope it doesn't come to my father's court, because I hope we solve it before then." That evening, Elliot sat in the empty chambers of his father's courthouse. A high ceiling, wooden benches, the smell of old books, the echo of gavel strikes heavy in the silence. He opened his laptop and did research. Frame-ups, institutional bias, how power can corrupt the oath of to protect and serve. He read about the long history of injustice. He felt a mounting anger at what Marcus must face. He dialed Marcus's mother, left a message. "This is Elliot Whitaker. I believe your son may be innocent, and I want to help." On the other end of the phone, Rose's hand trembled as she listened. Later, she wept quietly. Hope kindled. Time shifted again. A video emerged. A bystander's smartphone filming from across the street. In shaky focus, you see Marcus stepping out of a gray sedan, two officers waiting. The bucket lighting of the street lamp cast their figures in silhouette. The camera pans. You hear a voice say, "They just stopped him. Look at his hands." Later, you hear the slap of handcuffs, the murmur of a friend calling his name. The video shows the moment the officers reach into Marcus's backpack and then exchange a nod. Elliot watched the footage, the pixels grainy, his heart pounding. Delgado's voice in the video, "We found the weapon." Lawson's eyes hidden by shadow. In the background, the bus rumbled past, oblivious. The video stopped at the tilt of Marcus's head, his eyes meeting the lens. So raw. Elliot felt a catch in his throat. The world leaned. He forwarded the clip, traced the timestamps, compared precinct records and dispatch logs. The discrepancy. The GPS records of the sedan showed a route that didn't match the officer's version. The timestamp of the phone video earlier than the official stop time. He printed the still frames, sat back in his chair, and exhaled. The pieces fit. In this moment, Marcus's invisibility found a beacon. The hidden power of bearing witness thrummed.
On the day of the preliminary hearing, the courtroom was hushed. Light swept through stained glass panels high above, painting colored bands on the polished floor. Marcus sat beside his lawyer, shoulders squared, though his heart rattled. His mother sat a row behind, staring at the blue-suited spectators, her fingers laced like prayer beads. The judge sat at his bench, Judge Whitaker, stern, salt and pepper beard, robes cascading. Beside him sat the clerk, the air cool, the smell of varnish strong. Elliot sat in the gallery, notebook in hand. When the prosecution opened, they laid out the weapon, the statement Marcus signed, The officer's testimony. Marcus listened, each word a weight pressing on him. Then the defense stood. They called the smartphone video, the GPS logs, the dispatch report. Elliot watched the officers' faces. Delgado's jaw twitched. Lawson's veneer cracked. The gallery murmured. The judge leaned forward, the quiet tapping of a gavel like a heartbeat. Then the moment. The judge raised his hand. He asked Delgado, "Why is your stop time 21:13 when the GPS shows the sedan arriving at 21:07 and the video begins 21:08? The hush widened. Delgado stammered. Lawson narrowed her eyes. The defense counsel stepped in. The judge demanded body cam footage. The prosecution stalled. The crowd's breath held. Marcus's mother gripped his hand. Outside, the wind brushed against the courthouse walls. The judge's voice cut through. This court cannot convict based on fabricated evidence. In that silent corridor of morality, the justice system, flawed but alive, exhaled. As the gavel fell, Judge Whitaker dismissed the charges. Marcus stood, the relief flooding him like light breaking through clouds. He stepped out of the courtroom with his mother and Elliot at his side. Reporters' flashes popped. Questions flew. He didn't speak much. His eyes said enough. Elliot placed a steady hand on his shoulder and said, "You were heard." Rosa's tears came in quiet waves. The officers stood aside, their uniforms empty of honor. The city's hum resumed outside the courthouse. Marcus looked at the building, its columns white, its banners proud, and felt something shift in his soul. The air tasted of freedom, though tempered by memory. Elliot looked at his father across the bench, Judge Whitaker, who nodded subtly, the words unspoken, justice seen, power questioned. In the days that followed, Marcus returned to his life, but he carried a changed heart. He walked through the same school hallways, but now with a steadier gait. The mural of the march seemed brighter. Perhaps the paint had been retouched. The lunchroom chatter no longer entirely passed him by. Some classmates approached him, asked a quiet, "Hey, you okay?" The question simple, the gesture meaningful. At home, he and his mother planted a small tree in the apartment's tiny balcony, its leaves hopeful, reaching upward. He said to her one evening, "I'm going back to work at the cafe like I said I would." She nodded. The scent of roasted coffee beans and cinnamon bun reminded them of mornings before the arrest. For both, it was not just restoration, but renewal. Elliot kept his promise too. He founded a small campus club on policing reform, invited students, held dialogues. He became more than the judge's son. He became a witness and actor for change. Dear viewer, the story we've walked through is not just about one boy, one court, one set of officers. It's about the spaces in between accusation and truth, power and accountability, silence and voice. In the quiet of doubt and the loudness of evidence, we discover that justice is not automatic. It must be summoned. Marcus did nothing heroic in grand scale. He stayed, he refused to lie, and he accepted help when offered. Elliot did nothing grand in isolation. He saw, he stepped in, and challenged the default. Their combined courage turned a night of fear into a dawn of dignity. Look around you. There are moments when injustice sleeps quietly in the corners of traffic stops, neighborhoods, courtrooms, cafeterias. They whisper the cost of bias and the value of conviction. And yet they also whisper the possibility of change when someone watches, when someone cares, when someone acts. If you, dear viewer, carry guilt for what you've seen but not said, if you carry hope for what you might yet say, it is in that tension you find your power.
One day, the small tree on Marcus's balcony will shade him. One day, Elliot's club will change the campus conversations. One day, the officer's badge shine will reflect not arrogance, but accountability. Justice is not the end of a story. It is the ongoing decision to stand when it's easier to sit. On that note, here is your invitation. Watch for injustice, not with the rush of judgment, but with the steady gaze of a witness. Ask yourself, when someone frames the innocent, who stands beside them? When the law bends, who straightens it? When the powerful sit silent, who will speak? Your voice matters. Your watching matters. Because in our stories, collective voice becomes collective justice. Thank you for accompanying this story. May its echoes in you ripple out into your neighborhoods, your schools, your cities. And may each little act of seeing, each quiet word of support, each refusal to walk away weave into a larger tapestry of change.